Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning all.
Good to see you this morning. We were talking trees off the camera here.
Trees.
And I guess we can continue that discussion because I was asking Bill after his tutorial about how many questions he got on his trees at the show that he took the layout to. And I was telling Jerry about a guy that I'd seen online, and the guy has retired, but he passed his, I guess, sold his company to somebody else, and now they're doing it, and how expensive their trees are. They're really nice trees, but they're a little expensive. But
Claude, if you guys want to look, Claude posted a link. It's further up in the chat. So if you want to look, scroll up.
yeah, here, I can put that in there again. I think.
You can
Yeah,
put
there
it
it is.
in. Pretty
Yeah,
easy.
here, I've set it up here again. That's the one we were talking about, and they're a little pricey, but very nice trees, but a little pricey. I'll stick with Bill's way of doing it.
You might need a loan for some of them.
Yeah, or a second mortgage.
Yeah,
Second
mortgage.
Well, Steve, let us know who's in chat.
We don't have anybody in chat this morning. Where is
Nobody in
everybody?
chat.
Nobody in chat. Hey, good morning, everybody. We got Steve Big Wag. We got Allison. Good morning. Lynn McCurdy. Buka River Valley John. Good morning, darn. My buddy Bernard. How are you this morning? Digger. We got Ian in High River Subdivision. Rob Man. John Tanzillo. We got Roy Hardwick. Good morning, Roy, where are you at? And I think I know there's somebody else. I always say that. But I think, okay. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Did I miss anybody?
I don't know.
I
Hello,
don't know.
everybody.
Anyway, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Well, we don't have a guest on this week, but we will have a guest on next week. And
Because you screwed up. You didn't.
but yeah, because I did screw up. Well, I was sick this week. I got an excuse.
That's not an excuse.
Who's our guest going to be next?
You know what? I don't have his name right here in front of me.
So,
First name,
Hi.
Hi. Is that how he pronounces it? H-A-I?
Oh, hi. Yeah.
Is his first
Okay.
name?
Yeah. Hi. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's an N-scale modeler, so
Yeah.
all you N-scale guys will get to
Cool.
ask him questions.
The
I posted.
Netherlands. I think he's from the Netherlands.
Say again, Drew?
He's from the Netherlands.
Right.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I forgot to, he was going to contact me, and I didn't get on the email until last night to set the show up this morning, and I saw his email, and I emailed back and apologized that I didn't see it until then, and I told him, I said, well, let's set it up for next weekend, and in fact, there he is right there.
Yeah.
Good morning, Ian.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Your ears must have been.
Anyway, we'll have him on next week. So make sure you're here for next week, and he can show us his layout.
I see some new people in chat here. Mike
Run
Stevenson,
Dave
Mike.
Media and Stevenson. Good morning, guys.
H&H Express.
Pascal. I don't think I've seen him in here before. Mike
Anderson snuck in.
Hi, Dave.
Yeah.
Anderson. Oh, yeah, there he goes. What's up, Steve?
Yeah, the guy that knows everything.
Almost.
Almost.
Yeah,
Mike's Deep Run Railroad.
yeah, he's new.
Well, welcome, Mike. Yeah, I've
Mike.
seen him in here before.
Yeah.
Welcome
Cool.
to the. We got
Well, it's nice to have some new people coming in, and don't be afraid to put your 2 cents in the chat, and
absolutely.
Yeah.
we'll try to ignore it. I mean, we'll try and get to it. Anyway, yeah, Dennis had just finished his. Well, you didn't finish it. You had your premiere on about detailing your pit for your turntable.
Pit.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen that, go see that. That's really good. It does look really, really good.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're working on the wiring on it now?
I haven't completely made up my mind what I'm going to do this weekend. I finally got a bundle of 9 pieces of narrow gauge track. I had to take out a small loan. That was an adventure because my first order got canceled that I had to take out a small loan for.
Yeah.
And I'm still a little bitter about that, but I guess it is what it is.
You know, I was going to say you could have them ship it to me, but then it's still got to get it from here to you. So
Right. You know,
it wouldn't make much difference.
The whole reason it got canceled was complete, pardon my French, but BS.
Yeah.
Because UPS drives right by my house every day on a route to several different towns out here. I know they do because I've received stuff from UPS for the last 20 years because I've been in this area for 20 years, which didn't really, I mean, I could understand if he would have contacted and talked to me a little bit and say, look, here's the issue. They're going to upcharge me $10 to get it to you. Do you still want the order? Because I'm going to have to relay that cost to you. He didn't give me 24 hours. He didn't even ask. He just canceled my order and said, sorry. And that really frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dennis Path Valley says, of course, you could be modeling NN3.
Do
Yeah.
what?
You could be modeling NN3, Path Valley said.
No
He
thanks.
models NN3.
Yeah. 823 small enough.
I already have to have these for everything I do. And which I used to be an in-scale modeler. You know, that's how I started in the hobby, was an in-scale. But once I built my first structure in HO thinking that it was going to be just a diorama, you know, I think it'd be cool to do a diorama, built an HO structure, and I was like, this is so much easier. And look at the detail. From there, it was over from there. All my in-scale stuff's in a box. Not all of it, but most of it's in a couple of boxes right up above my head.
Just think, Dennis, if you started to build like an O-scale kit and the detail in that.
I know, because I follow a lot of narrow gaugers, you know, on YouTube, and every time I see something that goes, you know, I know I can do that.
Yeah.
And I could do it easier than what I'm doing now. But then I'm happy with the HO. I'm committed at the moment.
Well, and for the space that you have, you've got that nice area, and for HO scale, you can build the broad vistas, the scenery, as well as have a lot of operation. You know, HO and O and N all have different attributes, but each one of them really, you can do different things in it and really do it well, and it's fun.
Yeah, I think in-scale works really great for longer trains. If you have the space, the broader curves, you can really pull some things off in scale that is a lot more difficult to pull off from the force. It's just a different force perspective.
Yeah.
If you keep that in mind as you build it, you can, what's the word I'm looking, you can amplify and make use of that force perspective to work for you instead of against you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rock's out D-scale track, and Path Valley said they use T-scale track. That's got to be really, 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 really small.
T-scale track.
I don't even know what T-scale looks like.
Well,
It's got
ET scale is tabletop, which is very close to HO scale, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought double O was the equivalent to HO.
Well, there's a TT scale too, and I was thinking that was
Double O
close to that, but I could be wrong.
is
The in scale?
Double O is in the UK.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
said it's 3 millimeters between the rails.
3 millimeters?
Yeah, Anderson said run undercar train on a 4x2 layout.
3 millimeters. That's like 1/8 of an inch.
I've
T-scale is, okay.
never seen anything that small.
1.44. That's crazy.
Ridiculously small.
How do
Wow.
you see that?
Yeah, that's nuts. No,
That's-
not
3
going there.
millimeters or 3 centimeters?
I'd sneeze and blow it all off the table. Yeah, that's not happening for me. Like I said, H1-3 for me is plenty small enough.
Yeah.
You know.
Bill, I have a question for you, Bill. Is the scales that you model in your big layout now, are they affordable for people?
I would say yes, with some planning. I used basically off-the-shelf stuff for the most part, as well as garage sale type finds, eBay.
Right. Yeah.
So like the O scale that I've got, the O scale 2 rail is old Atlas sectional track and Atlas flex track that I got at decent prices off eBay. The equipment that I run is older 2 rail stuff, Atlas, River RC, and some Weaver. And obviously from, my experiences with the engine over last weekend, some of the old stuff, you got to be careful of because they can cack out. But yeah, the stuff that I get is affordable. It's not like you can go out and just one time buy it. But if you plan and you acquire pieces over maybe a year before you actually start, you can at least get your basics and then you can acquire other things as you run across them. So it's not cheap, but it's not expensive either. You can still find some actually good deals on things. You just got to look.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, and I think that goes for any scale.
Yeah, for sure.
You can get crazy expensive, or you can, be prudent and take your time buying stuff and find good buys and do it that way.
Yeah, and I'm a cheapskate. I'll be honest. I'll never pay full price for something, even if it's something that I absolutely need and I'm in pain. I will look around until I can find something a little cheaper. I can limp by.
Yeah.
It's like with the equipment, and I'll show some stuff later. With the engines that I had. I had an eBay purchase for O scale stuff that I got for about $70-$80. This has been a year or so ago, because I wanted the sectional track that came with it. But what also came with it was like a couple of O scale Atlas F units, powered, and some other cars and things. I got in a complete set for like $70, where they were trying to sell it for, it looks like garage sale prices, and they just weren't selling, so they sold it as a lot, and I got it. And in fact, that one that I just showed up, I stole the motor out of it, and I got my other Pennsylvania F unit Atlas back up and running. But you can find things. You have to have some patience and look.
Did you say you got 2 powered units for $70?
Well, I got 2 powered units for $70, as well as the caboose and a whole bunch of freight cars. So
wow.
both of these are powered Atlas O scale. Like I said, right now, one of them I stole the motor out of, and I put it in my other old Atlas, my kind of the brown Pennsylvania that was my workhorse last week at the show that cacked out. But that was like a 15-minute switch out. So if I ever can find another Atlas motor, that's like this, I can get an Atlas motor if I find one on eBay that's good, and I can put it back in that, and then I've got another working engine.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, you're talking about not paying full price for stuff. This one I just picked up this week, and I was sick all week, so I was on eBay just looking, even though I didn't really need anything. But I found this kit, and I've always wanted one of these kits. This is a fine scale modelers. Dennis knows about these. These are nice kits, and these are
Bulldog.
normally go for
Nice.
$125, $150 minimum, and I got this for $46.
Wow.
So that's
That's
the only
not
reason
much
I bought it.
above the original price.
Yeah,
It's
it's the only
the
reason I
original
bought it. It's
price of the
brand new and it's heavy because it's full of cast metal parts, details.
Is the original price on the box somewhere, Claude?
I don't see it anywhere, but I know from looking at fine scale model kits that none of them are under $100.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna say none of them because
Well,
forget how many I have, but I know I've gotten at least 2 for under 100.
Yeah, but you got them the same way I did off of eBay or something,
Right.
where they weren't. You got them less than full price.
The right time, and nobody else wanted them at the moment or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but if these were brand new from the manufacturer, they'd be well over $100. And
oh yeah, if they were being produced today, absolutely.
Yeah, they're really nice kits. So anyway, yeah, it's like that. You just got to, catch them at the right time and find stuff, and and of course a lot of the stuff that Dennis and I buy are for narrow gauge, which is kind of a different niche in the hobby than a lot of people are looking for. And if you're looking for modern stuff, that's plentiful now, so it's still relatively inexpensive. It's the stuff that's not manufactured anymore that's gone up in price so much, especially with the pandemic and stuff. But yeah, it can be done, because like I say, all my Blackstone engines, I've only got one that I paid more than $400 for.
Yeah.
So I just happened to get them before they all went up in price, but you can get them cheaper if you're willing to wait on them. So what's anybody saying in chat?
Well, I've got a question for Daniel Banks. He's working on working brakes on a caboose. What scale are you talking about? He's putting brakes and things and stuff on a caboose. I have a hard enough time doing that.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Daniel's got G scale, right? Isn't that right, Daniel? I think he's G scale.
He's ON30.
Oh, he's ON30. Who is
He's
G
putting
scale? Somebody's got G scale.
Caboose, or just scale brakes on a caboose?
Yeah, are they working brakes?
That'd be interesting.
I always
N
forget.
and ON30. Okay.
Claude, what do you model?
Me, I'm HON3 and HO.
Okay.
Bill, what do you model, Bill?
No, which
All of them.
ON30.
I know you do N and
HO,
HO.
and
ON30?
No.
ON30.
No, I've actually got some ON30 stuff, but it's never seen the light of day.
So the new layout is O scale and
ON30. That's on my newer one anyway, the one that I took to the show last weekend.
ON30.
Yep.
That's crazy. Daniel Banks, you're building working brakes on an ON30 caboose, and the shoes contact the brakes and stop them. Holy crap. How do you do that?
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. You make a video of that?
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I have a hard enough time working brakes on 1.5 inch scales.
Yeah, where you got some room to work.
Yeah.
I don't even, that it's funny because in HON3 you get like Blackstone trucks and some of the other manufacturers that made trucks for that scale have the brakes molded in with the frame.
Yeah.
But I have had some that have caused problem because the brake pad is so close to the wheel that if it picks up anything, it'll jam up in there and stop, and act like a brake. So you got to be careful with them when they're that small. But ON30 wouldn't probably be as much problem.
And what I found is that they like to catch on the coupler, the coupler box. If you have any radiuses that might turn those wheels a little tighter than what you'd want, those brakes will catch on the coupler boxes.
Yeah, I noticed they're just a lot more trouble than they're worth having on there, because for the most part you can't tell if a train's, unless it's up at eye level and you're right there in front of it, the train's going down, freight train's going down, and you've got some that got the brakes on them and some that don't, you wouldn't even notice them.
Yeah.
Or at least I wouldn't. My eyesight's not good enough to see it. But yeah.
He says the brakes themselves are easy enough. It's the blankety blank linkage that sucks.
Yeah, I can imagine. The whole thing would be sucked to me. I wouldn't even try that.
Yeah, Steve Anderson know if you use jewelry chain or scale chain. Man, I can't even imagine. You got to do a video on this.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to see something like that. You know, with my hands and my eyes, there's absolutely no way I could do that anymore.
Yeah, that's no way me either. I find just doing these kits that the smaller it is, the more I shake when I get in there to try to put something together. And I'm using tweezers, you know, and gluing it together like that, and I'm shaking like a leaf. So yeah, I can't get any smaller than what I'm already doing.
I mean, that's watchmaker stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my hands won't pull that off at all.
No. I'm the same way. The old right hand gets shaky, and grab it with the left hand just to really do the real delicate quickly before you can't do it at all.
Got it against the table and leaning on it too to keep it from shaking. Yeah. Oh, we're pathetic, aren't we?
We're old.
So I'm wondering, what have you guys been up to?
I haven't been up to anything. I was up in my layout on Monday. I did decide to make one of my mines a coal mine. So that'll give me another industry to truck back down to the two towns. But I got working on that a little bit, and the fever hit me Monday, and I was sick all week. So
yeah, the wife is sick today.
Yeah, well, Brenda was sick last week or week before, and so that's where I got mine. But anyway, I'm getting over it, and you can probably hear it in my voice. I'm not quite completely back, but I'm pretty close. I feel a lot better, that's for sure. But no, I haven't done anything upstairs all week. I didn't even go up the stairs. I didn't have the strength to get up the stairs. So I haven't done anything other than get on here and watch some videos and stuff. But I know Bill's been working.
I've been doing a little bit. I'll show you real quick. I haven't done a whole lot on the layout. The layout actually survived the trip to the Richmond Greenberg train show really well. No damage to the layout, no scenery reworked, nothing. What I've been doing this week is I've been fixing engines. So there's my FA. This one lasted about 15 minutes, and then it started to short out. So I've got it back up and running. There was some wire that was loose off of one of the front pickups. The connector pins on the motor on the inside were pretty corroded, so I cleaned them up to give it better electrical connections. One of the shafts that leads to this belt or band drive that's in the back, the shaft had been super glued. So I still have future work to do on it, but right now it's been resurrected.
Hey, Bill, real quick,
Yeah.
Are these locomotives easy to work on?
Yes. Yeah, they're easy. You take out some bolts underneath, and then the shell comes right off. And then the inside, it's mostly just the weight, and then the motor and the different drive pieces for the brand to get it to fix or move. So, yeah, pretty easy to access. Then this one was my workhorse during the show. I had it running, probably a good 10 out of the 12 hours that the show was on.
Wow.
So its motor, this is the motor that was in it, and it cacked out, and I can barely turn it. So it ran pretty well for a long period of time. So I took the motor, like I was showing earlier, out of that other Atlas F7 and put it in this, and it's resurrected. This one is a new eBay purchase that just came in yesterday, and I bought it after all of these cacked out because I was upset and I was going to spend money regardless. So I got a new one. So it's a new old one. Gentleman was thinning out his collection. This one's a Chicago and Northwestern, but it's exactly the same as that one. And this one runs nice, beautiful engine. And for this layout, since this layout's going to be more show, I'm not going to just stick with Pennsylvania for the road names. I can run other road names,
Right.
On this when I take it to shows because the kids don't care and the adults don't care. It's just fun for them. So this is a nice new one. Over here is my 080, and this is the River RC. and I can put power to the wheels. My light comes on, but absolutely nothing out of the motor. So the motor's dead. And this was new old stock, an old River RC is probably 50 years old, but the motor is, nothing. But if you look at the motor, so there's my Atlas motor, and there's the motor that River RC put in theirs. A little bit of a size difference.
Well, I guess so.
For O scale, this one isn't going to cut it. So I do have another motor that I've ordered that's bigger, and I'll see if it fits. And if not, I'll fiddle around and get another one, but I'll get that one back up pretty quick. Then my 10-wheeler down there, the gear on the shaft wore down. This one had seen a lot of use. The motor itself was running fine, and the worm gear was good. I have another kit of this that I have not built that I bought off eBay for like $40, a complete motorized unit. So I will be able to take that particular wheel set and swap it out and rebuild that one and get it going. So things are running on that, and there's those engines I bought a while back. I'll just come around here real quick. One other thing that I'm doing. And over here, I think I showed where I was at last time on this, starting to do more of the scenery work in this area here, start doing more kit construction. I'll get roads put in, more ground cover probably this week, do some more over here, maybe get some of these painted this week as I'm going. I tried painting the fascia gray right here. And after looking at it, I don't like it. So I'm going to go with the green on all of the fascia once I get to that and I get more of the scenery done here, just to kind of take care of it. So that was an experiment because I like the color. It just doesn't look good on this. I think if it were a smaller layout with only, a narrow fascia all the way along, this would look good, but not on the big expanse. So that's kind of what I've been up to. Everything, like I said, it fared out well. And these were the hit of the show with the little kids, because the little kids, this was the perfect height for the little ones to come up, poke their face through, and then be startled as the train would go by them, and they would jump back and they would laugh and giggle and just have a blast. So these worked well for me to get my hands in. And I needed to do something, but the kids, it was just perfect for the kids to look at the trains. And then for Ian, so Ian, there's the name, and you named it, buddy. So that's what's on this, and that's what I showed at the show.
Excellent.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
Steve Anderson wants to know if you've I guess asked Atlas if they have any replacement motors.
They probably do. I haven't looked. I've looked on eBay, and there's a few out there that are listed. So I know I can get them. It's not going to be that big of a deal. I've just, since I've got these other 2 units, what I am going to do is I am going to take one of those, Burlington Northern, and I'll switch over for KD couplers and keep it as one that I can run on this layout, because I've got, even though it's kind of hard to see, up on the shelf up over there, there's the caboose for it. So a matching Burlington Northern caboose that I can switch over with KDs so that I can run that on this layout as well. So I'm going to end up with much more motive power than what I went to the show with here in a couple of weeks once I get everything fixed.
Steve also wants to know if you're going to Hampton in a couple of weeks.
So the show organizer here at Richmond asked if I wanted to go. So he came up and directly asked, that I'm open at any of the shows. And I said, no, I don't have the opportunity or time to do so. But, in the future, I will be taking this to more shows. I will not be getting a Penske rental truck. The rental truck was fine. It worked. It was just kind of too high. I need one of the low big trailers that have like the high doors on it. That's the easiest way to move this. We got it there. We got it there, and it wasn't damaged. It was not that difficult. Rolling it around was okay, but just to have a trailer where you can just kind of walk it up a slight ramp rather than a steep ramp is the way to go for
Put
this.
it in the truck.
The wife did. So the two of us
Really?
got it in. Yeah.
Okay.
And two of us got it out. And then when we loaded it at the end of the show, it was raining. So another guy that was selling right next to the door that we were going out came and helped us. And yeah, we got it up. It only took a few minutes to get it up.
Right.
It didn't take much. And then when we got it to the show in the 3 sections, you know, once we got it onto the floor, from the time I started to bolt it together to the time I was running trains, it was like 30 minutes. Bolt it together, hook the wiring up, level it up, turn it on, and away it went. So it's worked out perfect for what I was envisioning it to do.
What you need, Bill, is one of the trailers with drop-down ramp.
Yep. Yeah.
Where the back door is a ramp. Those work out really well for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And my kid in his Boy Scout troop, they have one like that. And you're right. Yeah. You know, you just drop that down, you can walk into it, and it's perfect. And the height of this is perfect. It's like 6 feet tall. So as long as I've got an opening that's 6 feet tall, I can get this in with just a little wiggling to get it under a door or, you know, a frame. But
what's your overall length?
On this one, let's see, what is it? It's like I think 13 feet on this one.
Okay, so maybe like a little 14-foot trailer would be good for you.
Yeah, and this centerpiece is only like 4 foot wide, so you know it can turn sideways, so I can actually gain a little bit of space.
Yeah, so you can gain some space. If you need
so it doesn't take much. And then just putting them onto the truck in between them, what I'm going to end up doing next time is I'm going to get like a sheet of pink foam board and cut it in half, and then use a sheet of pink foam board just to kind of act as a buffer in between the sections. Because I used the totes on the floor just so that I had spacers, and that worked out well. Yeah. And then I put eye bolts underneath to, you know, for anchor points, for that, and everything. You know, it worked out well. Yeah. It rode well. I did not have scenery rework to do. The only thing that bounced off, well, actually, it didn't even bounce off the layout. It was the bears that were chasing Shannon, kind of fell into the canyon. So he was saved for a little while until we found him.
So, Hi had a question. I don't know if you want to put it up there, Claude. Yeah. Can you remove your legs? Can't you remove your legs?
Nope, not on this one. So this one, solid casework. Now, what I'm going to do in the future again is I will take the HO scale to shows as well, because the HO scale is designed to be movable. And the top on the HO scale lifts off the legs, and then the legs fold together into a bundle that I can tuck under my arm and carry. So this one was designed to be movable as well. And this one, you know, it'd be a lot easier actually to take to a show than the O scale. So I might mix it up in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long are each of the pieces on that HO scale?
So these are full 4x8.
Okay.
So yeah, this wouldn't be hard. I was thinking of a bracket or a sort of a cradle for being able to transport it, and how I would move it and suspend it in a sense so that it doesn't bounce too much. So I've got it all figured out in my head that if I ever go to a show, how I would transport it already. And this one is real easy. You know, pink foam board. You know, it's super light. Again, 2 people, one on one end, one on the other, can lift the whole top off, move it over, and then everything down for the legs is just, these spin knobs. Take it apart, hinged, and fold it in on itself, and then I've got a little bundle, and that one I can take pretty quick.
Pappy wants to know how far a drive was it to the show?
So from where I live to the show, it was, I think, about 13 miles in the city on old rough roads. So it wasn't a great distance, but a lot of curves, a lot of bumps, highways, all kinds of different things to get there. So it rode pretty well. It was expensive. I ended up spending about $160 for the rental truck for the weekend. I knew it was going to cost but for the first time to do it, just to kind of get a feel, it was worth it.
Yeah.
Roy Hardwick wants to know what's the overall length of your ON?
So for the this one is like 14 feet because it's 4.5, so 9, and then like 5. So I think it's like, or 4. That's 5. Yeah, I think it's 5. So it's like 14 feet, 13 feet, somewhere along in there. HO's 16, and then the end scale is 15.
Doesn't leave a lot of room in your garage.
Well, right here. That's the only space I've got in the garage, but everything's on wheels, so I can get to everything.
Any thoughts of selling any of them?
Eventually, probably. Yeah. And if I do, it'll probably be the end scale.
End scale.
End scale. I like them all.
Yeah.
But if I sell the end scale, I can then build another layout, probably a different style of end scale. So
you would build another end scale.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't get rid of any of the end scale.
No
but
kidding.
maybe build a smaller end scale and then build another, like maybe trolley based HO scale. I don't know. I just will have to clear out one layout so that I have space. Because obviously in the garage there's not any more space. Either that or else we move to a house that has a huge outbuilding, but that's probably not in the works. So anyway, that's what I've been up to.
Hey, your wife is much more understanding than mine would be about taking up garage space.
Yeah, that one I just had to kind of start sneaking it, and I finally got it.
Unbelievable.
But again, we've talked a lot of times. She knows where I'm at, just like with you guys. All she's got to do is yell out the door, and it's like she knows exactly what I'm doing and where I'm at if I'm not in the house.
I'm curious. Do you have a basement, Bill?
No, I wish I did.
Oh, you don't have a basement. That's why you did the garage.
That's why I did the garage. So if I had a basement, I would. If I got a house like right now with a basement, I would still probably do like what I'm doing here, not have it along a wall.
Right.
Because I find with these layouts that are freestanding, you actually have to do more scenery, more detail, because you can look at it from every angle.
Yeah.
So you have to put more into it to kind of build your scenes and, scene divides and different things like that. So even though it's less space, for me anyway, I get more bang for the foot, because you have to go around, you have to walk the entire thing rather than just along a wall with maybe a peninsula coming out. So if I had a basement, I would still probably not have an around the wall layout. I would probably have it where you can walk between the wall and the layout around on all of the different sides, even if it was a big layout, just so that I could get to everything and see it from all kinds of different ways.
Yeah. Well, one thing about being in the basement is you don't just take it out of there on a whim either. It's pretty much going to be in the basement.
Yeah. So see, if I had a basement, I'd have a basement layout and I'd still have the garage. So win for me.
Well, see, and Mark said if you had a basement, you'd probably be building TTS and scale too.
Probably. So if
would you see yourself building Z?
Actually, I could.
Really?
Yeah, I've got a box of Z scale flex track I bought off eBay that a guy had listed as N scale, and it was a really good price for N scale, and it was a very, very good price for Z scale track.
Yeah.
So maybe someday. But if I had a basement, I already know what I would do is if I had a basement, I would still have like these 3 scales, because I've already kind of mentally thought about it. But I would have a big corner in the basement where all 3 scales would meet. So I would have like an N scale in the background running across like high trestles through a really mountainous area with a river. I'd have the HO loop it in, between the N scale and the foreground. Again, same thing, maybe following the river for a while and disappearing into a tunnel. And then I'd have the O scale like right at the forefront. So you get a super forced perspective in a matter of maybe 6 to 8 feet, in a corner. and then have everything loop back into its own layout. So the HO would be in one area, N would be in another, and O would be in another. So that would be something, if I ever had a basement, that's something cool. I would probably do just to have some fun.
That's what happened, or what they did on the first layout I ever saw at the Pomona County Fairgrounds. They had to kind of set up like that on a mountain, and the higher they went up, the smaller the scale got. But I still remember that when I was 5 or 6, I guess, when I saw that.
Yeah, it would be something fun to model, and it would be something I could do. It'd be cool.
Go ahead, Steve.
Oh, you can't get in with these guys. I got an idea for you, Bill.
What's that?
Figure out what scale 15-inch gauge would be, and make a 15-inch gauge miniature railroad that people ride on, and then find out how that compares out to full scale, and have a full scale railroad with a little miniature 15-inch gauge ride on train. Put people on.
Yeah, let's see if you provide the funding. I'll do that.
You'd have to use Z-scale, wouldn't you?
Probably,
yeah. It would be kind of fun to do something like that too. That's the fun thing with the hobby, is that you can do anything you can imagine. It's just having space to kind of do those things.
Yeah. Oh, so what have you been doing, Dennis, besides working on your turntable?
Well, I'll show you. I did accomplish something this week. It's not much, but it's something.
Well, whatever you did was more than what I did, so.
Let's see. How do I turn the camera around? Damn. I'll go ahead and show the turntable real quick for those who haven't seen the videos yet. This is it. Now, I know
it looks good.
Anderson is really concerned about all the grass and the weeds in it. That was intentional. And I know he came late to the video, but if you look real close in this picture, like right here, that's clearly a weed with some height to it. Back up in here, there's weeds. There's all kinds of grass on the inside of this turntable. This is what I'm really trying to recreate in one form or another for my railroad. And, Frying Pan is probably going to see 4 trains a day, maybe, is what I'm thinking, at the most. So it's not like this turntable is going to be the most busiest turntable in the world. So, and again, I'm not finished with it. Once I get the tracks laid in and figure out where the turntable stops and starts all the time, then I'm going to do a little more weathering on it. So I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, though.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, it does look good. And if you want to see how he got there, go watch his video on that.
So here is my latest mock-ups. This is going to be a brass foundry, or some type of foundry. I don't know if it'll be brass or not, but it's definitely going to be a foundry. And now this little building right here is actually supposed to go on the back side here. It's kind of hard for me to do this, but I don't like that. And it also kind of makes this area in here a little crowded, and you won't ever be able to see any detail. So I'm thinking either of making it right here like that, or I'm also considering putting it on the front of this building and then incorporating all of this as one industry. I just haven't decided yet.
I like that building attached to the other building.
Yeah, I like it like that.
That makes sense. Started with the small, with the false front, and then you added on to the bigger building behind it. Looks good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which I think was the original thought process in putting it on this one. But, you know, the only way you would ever be able to see it, like Bill was talking earlier, you know, where if you can walk completely around, you know, you could see it right here from where I'm standing now, but, you know, I got to have mountain in here as well. So, and I'll figure that stuff out later before I actually build the structures themselves, because, you know, my goal for this year is to start on the scenery for all of this. Once I get frying pan laid in and the tracks back around by the workbench there, I'm going to devote all of my energies into this 8-foot by 30 inches or whatever it is for the rest of the year. So I'm really looking forward to that, because scenery is what I really want to do. I really want to get this going somewhere.
Hey, Dennis, all your buildings are cardstock right now?
Right now, they all are, with the exception of the hardware store, which is a 2x4.
Hey, Dennis, can you play LP 45s on your table?
With the right stylus? Yeah, I think I could.
Yeah. Have you ever did a video how you do your buildings in cardstock?
Well, I mean, no, I haven't, but
you should.
I mean, all I'm doing is
no, don't just assume that everybody knows, okay? Because we don't. I think that would make it. I think it would make a good video, and include like how you're going about doing your detailing, and I just can't get over these buildings are not even going to be the buildings on your layout.
Yeah, he spent more time building these than I've done on the ones that are going to be on the layout.
Well, I mean, you know, like these 3 or 4 structures right in here, I mean, that took me 2 evenings of maybe an hour or 2 each.
Right.
You know, it's just a matter of knowing your dimensions. And in this case, you know, the kit actually has, there's some rock walls that go with this. They're the same plastic that this is. You lay them on a piece of cardboard and you trace them. Then you cut them out, you know? Right. Now, it's a little different with, say, these buildings back here. Those were all...
that doesn't exist.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So it is a little different there.
I mean, tracing it is pretty straightforward. I'm talking about taking something that doesn't exist and making it like that, including all the detail that you have on there.
Yeah,
I think it would be interesting for somebody to see that process and learn that process.
I might do that then, Jerry. That's probably a good idea. Here's the problem with that right now is that when I choose to do this, I'm doing it in my home away from home in my little trailer.
Yeah.
And so that makes it really difficult for me to set up a camera, and I'd have to pack stuff back and forth.
Yeah.
But I may do that eventually.
You know, these are of such high quality, Dennis, that you could actually probably market those as the core for a scratch build, so that you've got the form up, and then somebody could come in and add, exterior details around what you've got laid out, and then, customize it and make their own building off the core that you've produced.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure that I might not do that myself. I have fooled around with the idea, like especially some of these bigger buildings here. Could I literally just lay wood on top of what's already there and go with that? I may try that on one of them and see how it actually turns out. Because I can't remember which one of these buildings here, that's actually how the kit calls for it to be done. And like this little office building here, the one that I'm thinking about scabbing on there, you actually board by board do clap siding with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be fun, and it would be easy for somebody to do that. You know, if you ever have a building that you want to sell, let me know. I'll buy one off you, because I'd like to try that with one of your cores. Because I think that would be a blast to build a building up based on what you've already done, and it'd be a hell of a lot easier for me to do.
Yeah, the only thing if I had that in mind, you know, and I might think that through with the next building that I do, is go ahead and cut out the windows and the doors, because it's a little difficult now to cut the windows out.
In this,
a nice flat smooth surface to cut on. It could still be done. You just take a little more effort.
It's easier to cut it when it's flat.
Right. And on a cutting board.
Do those have like a base on them, or are they hollow?
Nearly all of them are hollow. There's one or two that have a base.
Okay. So somebody could like get like a 1x2 or a 1x3 and clamp it to something and then slide it in so that they can windows and doors. But
there's a way.
No, the quality of those, Dennis, is just phenomenal for what you're doing.
Where do you buy that cardstock?
Hobby Lobby.
Really?
Yeah. I think it comes in like a 2-foot by 3-foot sheet. I don't know what the actual dimensions are. It's big enough that it doesn't fit on my little table in the van down by the river. But I just whatever I think I need, you know, for the time being, I will go through the efforts to cut off what I need, put the rest of the cardboard up, and then, you know, cut the chunks out from there.
How is it sold? As cardstock?
Yeah, it might be. I don't think it's like backing material for like pictures. It could be. I've never really paid that much attention to it. That might be actually what it is. You know, like if you were to put a picture and then I don't know what that stuff is on either side of your picture that you know, frame out your picture with inside the picture frame, but that could be what it actually is.
Hey, Dennis, could you use a Dremel and a small file to cut out your windows?
Could I,
could you?
Yeah, I probably could. I think it would be kind of messy. It'd certainly be messier than doing it with a sharp hobby blade.
Well, yeah, no question.
Yeah. I know we're getting short on time, but you know, Bill was talking about his layout. You know, I built the Time Saver to do the exact kind of same thing that he did. And I got it all ready to go, and then guess what? The whole world shut down before I could take it anywhere, and I haven't ever really decided to go anywhere else with it. But, you know, my legs pop off with bolts, and even the backdrop pops off. My original design was that when I put the lid on, because I hadn't built a lid for it, but you can see I intentionally left this long on this side so a lid would fit right down on top of it, and then the backdrop can slide right on top of the lid, and then the legs and stuff would also fit on there. So 2 guys should be able to lift it up right here and slide it into the back of the pickup. That was kind of how I tried mine. I might take it somewhere this fall. I had originally planned on taking it to the fair in my local county fair, just to see what would happen, because you know, I think I'm actually better known by people in the UK and Australia than I am in Oklahoma. So I thought I'm still kicking around the idea of doing that. I just haven't made the decision to do it yet.
Roy had a question, Dennis, and it's unrelated to your mock-ups. He wanted to know, what are you going to use to build your mountains? And he wanted to know if you're going to use chicken wire.
I probably will use a compilation of everything, because I definitely want to be able to plant trees. And I know there's a way that you can do that with chicken wire, with maybe hot gluing some foam underneath onto the chicken wire where your trees are going to go or whatever. I would prefer to use foam at as many places as I can, and I'll discuss a little bit of what I'm thinking about. We still have time, yeah. What I'm thinking about doing here, and so my plan is get some school paper that, at schools they have that paper that's really wide, kind of like butcher's paper that they decorate their doors with. My wife happens to be a school teacher. But I'm going to lay that on here, and then I'm going to trace the track plan onto that. Now pull it off, and then everywhere where all of the buildings are that are going to interface with the mountain, I will put on a piece of 1/8 inch masonite so that I can pull it off and on the layout. And then that masonite will go all the way back, and then I will stack foam on the masonite and then build the mountain that will stair step up through all the way and back around. That's my plan with that. So for sure, there will be lots of foam involved in the mountain for Silver Gulch here. And in the big recess areas, I'm still, kind of messing around with the best way to do that. Probably a compilation of different ways. I've thought about the cardboard. I've thought about the chicken wire. I'm just going to have to see. But I definitely want to be able to pull all of that off as a unit, and then lay that unit on this table and work on all of the scenery elements without having to bend over and break my back or whatever trying to mess with it here, which I have looked into getting the topside creeper. I just haven't decided I want to spend the money on it yet.
Well, what I think a lot of people don't realize, most of the buildings in the big cluster of buildings there on this view, that you're talking about putting on the masonite are not going to be sitting flat, right?
No, they're all going to be
stair-stepped up a mountainside.
This would be the lowest building, kind of flush with the ground. It will be pretty much right on top of the masonite, and then some degree of height will be achieved by the end of the street. Same thing with up there with, my hotels up there would be the highest point at that end of the street. And then I would like possibly 2 more buildings, a school and a church, on the backside if it works out. I don't know if it will. And those will probably at some point be another cardboard build. I don't know if it'll be my next cardboard build, because I've got another building or 2 that will go with this mine that I also want to mock up. So.
Yeah, I think you're going about it right.
Well, I'm just trying to do my due diligence.
Well, you're doing well.
Yeah, you've got it thought out well. You're going to have some spectacular scenery.
And this is what I'm going to start working on today. So I'm going to lay in as much of this track this weekend as I can, because I've got track to do it now. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, that's just about our hour, guys.
Sounds like a plan.
By the way, guys, Heath wanted us to send you over to his channel. He's going to be doing a live stream from the Amherst Train Show as soon as we get off here. So if you feel so inclined, head over to his channel, and he's going to walk around the train show over there. I'm not sure exactly what he's going to be doing, but he asked us to send everybody over there. So anyway, I have told you, and we will see you here next week, and we're going to have H&H Express model N-scale trains on next week. So you guys make sure you come back, and we'll talk with him next week. Everybody on the panel, thanks, guys. Steve.
Thanks, everybody. Good show.
And Bill and Dennis and Jerry and Gus. Be good, Gus.
He's
And everybody
good.
in chat, thanks for showing up. And guys, y'all have a good week, and we'll see you next week.
Take care, everybody.
Take
Thanks.
care.
All.
See ya.